I want to take a moment to really reach out and talk to all those New Age mystics. I love you, New Age mystics. I mean, after all, you have to, let's give credit where credit's due here. Before the New Age mystics, we had all that organized religion shit. That shit was pretty bad. You have to remember, it's now when we think back on that, ouch, ooh, ouch, ouch, ouch. Don't talk about that in front of the grandkids. Ouch, that was embarrassing, that shit. Anyway, so so basically we had Western spiritualism. We had we had this at least in Western Europe we had the Wiccan, and then we had Catholicism and Protestantism and Calvinism, and on and on. And now we're being rescued by the New Age mystics. Yes, there's these are the kinds of people. It's there's no real we don't have an idea of God. We don't take the Hebrew idea that, okay, there's let's just take the best of all things and let's have a concept of the absolute best. Okay, I mean, imagine that idea as as a species or as a culture to come up with that idea. What we really want is the absolute archetype of all things that we hold valid and precious. I mean, that's really reaching where it's not oh, we have a bunch of little gods, this has a god and that has a god, or, oh, we have a bunch of little ideas, or, oh, we have a whole family of gods and they womp on us and wail on us every so often. No, it was this idea that we had an archetype, okay? And this archetype, it's the best. It's everything that ever was. And it's all in one idea. Imagine. I mean, if you were going to talk about technological breakthroughs, that's a technological breakthrough, even as though it has nothing to do with technology, okay? That idea, okay? That's a creative idea, okay? That's a good one. Yay, okay? It doesn't even matter if you believe in God or not. Just the idea of God is an unbelievable accomplishment, all right? Maybe it isn't, maybe it is, okay? We don't have a lot of ability to step back, but if we want to talk about what we have here and now, that's an amazing idea. I mean, even if you're Eastern, you have to sit back and go, that's a good idea. It's sort of the point versus wave, okay? So anyway, I just want to put that out there. So, the New Age mystics come along, and they're all channeling these forces that, since they're unseen and from some other world, they must be good, right? They must know more than we do. So then they channel what they say, which is great. I mean, hey, more the merrier, right? And, and they channel all these things, and then they say the most unbelievable things, and they're mostly chicks, okay? Now, some of them, like Israeli Rigandi, he's got some cool things to say. And there's that guy who, the one is it, the Don Juan dude, Jose Castellana, he's there sometimes. I haven't read a lot of this work. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, you get to some of these, even ones I really, respect, the writer, the Palladians or whatever, she's sort of interesting. She has some interesting ideas. But, I just want to say that, don't take them too seriously. I mean, it's, you can take their ideas and stuff, but, there's just this idea that somehow there's this right way of living, and we just somehow lost the manual. That's basically New Age mysticism. Okay, there's a right way out there. It's just that you poor deluded fools somehow or other, And what I want to say about this, okay, is that there may be ways of not living that are more or less, conducive to human happiness. I'm sure there are, and there may or may not be, but this overlooks this fundamental idea that human life is a creative life. Which means that there's this chance that we're going to actually do something that we didn't do before, didn't know before, no one predicted, no one had written in the, the liner notes anyway, and here, I'm going to do this. No, I mean, it's, when we live a creative life, that means that every day is different. So, it's really hard to talk about right or wrong, or there's a manual that we somehow messed up and didn't understand, if it's all open-ended like that. And if it's not open-ended like that, then who the fuck are these people to be talking to us? So I just want to say that, those are the New Age mystics. And while, yeah, they say all these wonderful things You may wonder sometimes, and really this one's good, like why people who seem to be higher in society, have higher positions in society than you, but seem less skilled than you are, why do they have higher positions in society? This is because they're more evolved. Now, I want to talk about this for a second. Okay, if you're going to say that, first that seems to, give you this idea that you know what human beings are, you know where they're going, and you know how they should get there. And that also social acceptance is more important than actual content. So in other words, okay, it's more important to get along with people and be friendly with them and be responsible and good to them than it is to actually do your job well. I've seen this over and over again, that the social illusion or the social scaffolding that we're all working to maintain together is more important than your actual ability to do your job. In fact, if you doing your job so well that in the process, the natural process of doing your job, you're fucking up the scaffolding, then you're not doing your job right, even though you're doing your job perfectly. So you see, the ultimate criteria, any human enterprise, is the social one and not the content. Okay? If you're rocking the boat is a greater sin than actually being right about the justice you're standing for. And that's what the New Age mystics are telling you. Because the point of New Age mysticism is to feel good and to feel empowered and not to feel weak. And we do that by conning you in any number of ways into thinking the things that aren't your fault are your fault, and the things that aren't your responsibility are your responsibility. And we do that by using these twisted little things that don't make any sense. That's why I'm always suspicious of things that don't make sense. I remember one time this old lady who was really into Christianity once said to someone, just because it doesn't make sense doesn't mean it isn't true. And I want to say this, well, that's, just to help you guys out there, because I know you're fighting too. That statement may actually technically be true. The problem is using it as an axiom. As an axiom, that's never something you should use. Okay? So anyway, I'm really trying to help you guys out there. More than you guys have ever done for me, as far as I can tell, though, we can't really judge these things, I guess. But yeah, watch out for New Age mysticism. I'm glad they're optimistic, but when you put out a jar and call it your love jar, and then people fill it for money with you after they come for miles to hear you say a bunch of, hooey pooey, and then you put out a love jar and they fill it, that's a circle jerk.